Okay. Just Miguel disappeared. Okay. So welcome everybody. For today's interview, we have none other than Miguel Valenzuela, the man behind the project, the Pancake Bot. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This is another video interview from the co-host from BotBQ and oh.
What's wrong? I see you. Everything's fine.
Yeah, because I was hearing myself from the video with the with the delay, so I totally messed it up. Okay, I'm going to start again. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Welcome everybody to a new video interview about 3D food printing, co-hosted by BotBQ and 3 Digital Cooks. Joining us from Frankfurt, Germany, Jason Masbrocker, the mastermind behind the BotBQ, and myself, Luis Rodriguez, from 3 Digital Cooks, based in Barcelona, Spain. Today we have Miguel Valenzuela, for me the man of the moment in 3D food printing, thanks to his project, the Pancake Bot, that is, I think, is a totally success. We can say that on Kickstarter. Hello, Miguel.
Total success.
Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you guys.
Okay. So we have prepared some questions for you, and let's start with them. So
all right, sounds good.
First of all, who is Miguel Valenzuela? I think it's important for people to know and understand more about the project.
Okay. Well, like you said, my name is Miguel Valenzuela, and I'm the creator of PancakeBot. My background is in engineering and art, and I'm also a maker. Been inspired significantly by Make Magazine and the Maker movement. And I have been focusing on this project, PancakeBot, for several years now, which was accidentally inspired by my daughter, who was 3.5 at the time. And so we are, I'm an engineer by trade, and I currently am living in Norway, and then we're thinking about looking at San Diego and possibly moving over there, but I'm going to be visiting San Diego soon. I mean, I'm a graduate from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo in Bioresource and Agricultural Engineering, which is kind of my interest in food and machines and robotics. And I have a wonderful wife named Rooney and 2 kids, Lily and Maya. And I think that's who I am.
Good answer.
Okay.
So, as I always tell you, I'm a really big fan of the story, but I think maybe some people might not really know yet. Could you please explain us how the Pancake Bot was born, and especially how it's been the ride from that moment until now?
Well, Pancake Bot was sort of this whimsical dream. It started off as an idea to make pancakes, a pancake machine out of Lego. It started off in the fall of 2010 when I was reading Make Magazine Volume 2. Inside the article, there's an article written by Bob Parks called Blockheads, and it talks about prototyping with Legos. And my daughter Lily, who was 3.5 at the time, said, "What are you reading, Dad?" And I said, "Well, I am reading about a guy named Adrian Marshall who made a pancake stamping machine out of Lego." And her eyes just opened up, and then she turned to her sister Maya and said, "Papa's going to build a pancake machine out of Legos." And then Maya did a little dance, and then after that, you know, Pancake Bot was born. It was this sort of this weird challenge for me because, interestingly enough, I had received Legos from a friend named Mark Dumas, who had given me Lego. He had given me his whole collection of Legos before I moved to Norway. I don't know exactly why he did it. I think he just had he had too much of an obsession with Legos and wanted to move on from that part of his life. But in that set, he gave me an NXT 1.0 set or NXT 2.0 set. And so I had all these components, and he had all these older components, hydraulic or pneumatic pumps with or pneumatic cylinders with pneumatic cables. And I was really interested in all that, and but I didn't know what to do with it. And I had a book called Extreme NXT, I think, by Philo, and it talked about how to make an Etch-a-Sketch out of Legos. And so it used the CNC concept of using two motors to be able to control X, Y, and Z, and it had very basic coding in there on how to create a CNC, how to draw a picture with this NXT set and an Etch-a-Sketch. And so when my daughter came up with this idea or inspired the idea, I thought to myself, well, this is pretty much a CNC machine. All I have to do is know exactly where to move the head around, and I could make simple perfect Mickey Mouse pancakes. You know, because she wanted Mickey Mouse pancakes, and I'd drawn them by hand for her before, but they weren't perfect. They were a little bit off, and I was a little perfectionist at it. And so I struggled for about 6 months to try and make it, and in 6 months I came up with 9 different iterations. And when you talk about iterations with Lego, you break one piece off and that's a new iteration. So there's a lot of different iterations where the hardest part, or the easiest part, was figuring out how to move the head around, because that's easy, you have motors. The hardest part was figuring out how to dispense the batter and do it all with Legos. And I kept myself within the limit of Legos. I didn't want to use a peristaltic pump. I didn't want to use an aquarium pump. I didn't want to use any other thing except Legos. The only thing that I wanted to be non-Lego was the container that held the batter. And so I ended up just doing all these iterations and working with the pneumatics and working with valves and figuring it out. And eventually I figured it out, and we were able to make Mickey Mouse pancakes. I posted a video of it on YouTube after thinking about it and just thinking this was going to be a fun project, and it blew up. I mean, 10,000 hits in the first day, and people were just amazed that we're making pancakes with Lego, but amazed that it was with Lego. Really, I thought that was the appeal, that this was a Lego thing that people were interested in. And when the hits started piling up, I got a little anxious because I was like, what's happening here? I didn't know. I thought this was something that somebody would have already thought about, and apparently the Lego thing was really something that got to people. Eventually I went ahead and took it to a maker fair in New York, and we were swamped with visitors. I mean, non-stop. I had 2 people there helping, or I had 3 people with me, 2 people from Norway. There was Bjorn Nordahl, and I can't remember. I'm trying to think. Gosh, it's slipping my mind. Hilda Janssen from Kongsberg, Norway, flew out to this maker fair from Norway to help me with PancakeBot. It was just crazy. And then I had another person there named Elise Herberger, who was also helping me out and guiding us. So we were slammed. We were constantly slammed, and I was just overwhelmed by the whole thing. After that, I just kind of hung it up for a while because I wasn't sure exactly what to do with it. And I hope it's okay that I'm going on like this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect.
After the New York Maker Fair, you know, people started like interviewing me about this, and I was like wondering, okay, here's the appeal, but I was thinking it was all Legos. And then a year later, after taking it to more maker fairs, we went to the UK Maker Fair, and we went to the Oslo Maker Fair. And every time I took it to a maker fair, I enhanced the programming, and I developed the programming with my friend Matt Bartolome from the United States. He helped me create a Python script that would take an image or a vector image from AutoCAD, and then it would create the coordinates and the vectors that would be read by the NXT. So then we were able to make more complex images, like a seahorse, and I think we did Spider-Man. I didn't know I couldn't do Spider-Man because at the time it was okay to do Spider-Man because we weren't promoting the product, but now I can't show the Spider-Man video because it's technically promoting the Pancake Bot.
Ah.
So after that, I had forgotten about this, but nobody had given. We had got all this great support from people. They were like, "This is great, we love it, kids love it, and everything like that." But I had asked people. I said, "Look, I have this Pancake Bot. I want to take it to the next level." Everybody that I talked to kind of laughed at the whole they were, "Oh, it's a Lego Pancake Bot. What's that?" And I didn't get any support from anybody except the people that were already helping me, Hildy Johnson, Kongsberg, and my family. They all were supportive, but I needed to figure out how to take it to the next level. The thing about living in Norway is it's not really set up for innovation. Everything's very expensive there. It costs a lot, high taxes, and I didn't know exactly how to do this. So I actually told my wife a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I told her I'm done with PancakeBot. This is it. I'm spending too much time at these maker fairs, and I can't do this anymore. I was a year ago, actually. I told her that. And then I read an article by Dale Dougherty from Make magazine that he published, and he said something about the Pancake Bot being like, I forget what the quote was, but it was, you can look it up on Make magazine, but it was, and whatever he wrote, but there was something in there about somebody should make an open source Pancake Bot. Now, to me, open source was meaning to use open source parts and stuff like that. And so what I did is I was trying to figure out how do I make this an open source project. So I finally contacted a friend in New York and said, look, this guy wrote about this. You want to take it to the next level? And he gave me the funding to make the first acrylic prototype. I made 2 acrylic prototypes. The first one was using linear screws that I bought from China. And the problem with that is the linear screws, you can't move the belts by themselves because there's too much tension, too much torsional resistance on it, so you can't slide it. So then I changed it to these belts, and it worked. But I went through 6 different batter dispenser iterations, mechanical iterations, but the problem with all of those was that I was using screw conveyors to be able to convey the fluid. And the problem with that was that it was cleanability. I was not getting consistent. There was a lot of delays, and it was not easy to clean. And we were building up batter. And I said, we have to go back to the original Lego version, but I have to redesign how we dispense the batter. So I struggled, and I came up with prototype after prototype, and then finally developed a way to control the batter flow using air and a vacuum. And we did that, and this is about a month and a half before the Maker Faire in San Francisco. I had already committed to it. I said I was already going. I showed them a picture of the Lego Pancake Bot, which they had already seen, but nobody had seen the acrylic version. So I had this fire under me that I'd better deliver something, or else this is going to be another Lego version of Pancake Bot Maker Faire, which is not really. It's going to be fun, but it's not really going to do anything for us in the family. And so then finally I did it. We made the Eiffel Tower video and we launched it, and that just went crazy. People were like amazed that we were making Eiffel Tower intricate pancakes. And then from there, we took it to the Maker Faire and it took off. Now, one of the things is that I had said on the video, and it's still on the video, it said it's open source. And from the open source perspective at that time, I had meant that it was made with open source parts because it was done with an Adafruit motor shield and other components, which I honestly don't know if those are even open source. I'm not sure. But open source also means that you're supposed to put the plans out. And the problem is that the components that I got were so difficult to get, even for me in the United States or in Norway, that I wanted to make a kit version to make it truly open source. At that time, we got a call from a company named Storebound and a gentleman named Evan Dash. And he was like, well, you have a really great product here. you want to bring it to market. My company helps you bring it to market. And I said, I can do that on certain conditions. And the conditions were to be able to create the Pancake Bot in such a way that it would be able to give back to the maker community. And so after 6 months of negotiating and stuff like that, we decided to enter an agreement with them that they would do the manufacturing and they would allow me to participate in discussions with people and the marketing of it and continue with my effort to be able to educate makers and promote the product as a way to educate makers, but also, you know, get it out there in the market for the commercial purposes. And so we filed for a provisional patent, or filed for a patent for the batter dispenser unit, which is patent pending right now because that was very unique. And now we're the first one that we're launching is going to have some components which are going to allow hackers to upload and hopefully we're still working on the details of it, but it's going to allow people to go in there and modify it. And we're seeing if we can go with an ARM chip from Atmel. And those are still things that we're trying to see how we're going to do that. And also, but at the same time, it's going to be something that, you know, from a manufacturing perspective, will require either huge 3D printers or injection molding. So I think the next version we're going to do is going to be more of an open source kit that you're going to be able to hack and do, and then we're going to release those plans so that way people can have access to those. And I'm not sure of the timeline of those. But now we're on Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter has blown up. We've surpassed our goal, doubled our goal, initial goal of $50,000. We're at $100,000 now, and I'm just humbled by the response. It really means that this is clicking with people because Pancake Bot is an entry into the 3D printing world. People are asking, you know, the media is calling Pancake Bot a 3D printer, and I think some people have called it a 3D printer also. And you know, to me, a 3D printer has this movable Z-axis, but in fact, you can print with layers on this because you can just go over the same layer twice and create successive layers. So it meets that requirement, but it just has a very limited Z-axis. So, but the idea now that you can put this kind of CNC technology into your kitchen and then inspire kids to learn about technology and have it in front of their faces, and then when maybe a kid will get a little older and they can, you know, see how they can open it up and see how it works or something like that, and void their warranty or whatever it is. To me, that's a way to inspire kids, inspire them to get into technology, into art, and to express themselves. So this is more than just an appliance to me. This is you know, it's a family project. It's a way to show what we can accomplish as a family together. So, I mean, that's the whole story behind Pancake Bot and how it grew. And I hope it's not too long, but that's how it came out. So that's it.
Well, I guess that's the end of our interview. Miguel answered all of our questions. We had a chance to. No, it's still. I remember the first video years ago, and I'm still flabbergasted about it. Still at the point, and it's just exactly what you mentioned. To watch it grow to what it's become right now, and the mega response it's awesome, and it's really. I think it's great for guys like myself and Lewis who really believe in 3D food printing or 3D food CNCing, whatever. You know, and inspiring others to get involved as well with not only with this technology but open source technology, any type of technology, and really create and be creative and let themselves come out and express themselves in some way. So I think it's really awesome, and you're really opening doors. And as I mentioned yesterday, you know, you're kind of like a pioneer to us. You know, you actually you've done it. You're in the kitchen now. You know what I mean? You are in that kitchen. And,
yeah,
and that's cool.
Overwhelming, you know, in the sense of that it's just, it's like I said, it's very humbling that people are going to let something that I created, you know, get into their kitchen.
Yeah.
And I hope that, like I said, it inspires kids. I mean, we're having my nephew is going to invite his friends over, and we're going to test out the new version right now. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. and I just hope I'm able to give back to the community, and the community is able to reap the benefits of having a Pancake Bot. So.
Yeah, I have I believe in the same. You know, the community's done a lot for me. I mean, we wouldn't be talking right now if it weren't for them, and from all that I've learned, and from the people who I've met, and you know, the blogs I've read, and the information I've been able to get for free. You know, basically. Right. And I commend you on still trying to go the open source route. I mean, I can't say I would do. I don't know what I'd do if I was put in that situation as well. You know, where the company says, you know, you don't have a choice. You know, but you know, I think it's awesome that you're still going to drive it towards the open source route, and delivering a kit and letting people tinker with it is really cool. And I think you're definitely going to inspire a lot of kids and adults, you know, to be kids again in the kitchen, you know, and have fun with their food and play with their food once more.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting situation, and because in reality, you know, you have, you know, I have a wife and kids, and you have to be able to take care of them and stuff, and the idea of being able to produce a product and sell it and get revenue from it is really nice, because then that opens doors for future things. It allows you to travel, it allows you to go, you know, maybe have some extra money to go visit schools and give more, and put you in that situation where now you have more liberty to do things. At the same time, you still want to leave it as open as possible to kind of give back to the community. I think you have a responsibility of doing that. And but the main thing is that once you do make it open source, you leave it open for it to be copied by somebody else, and to take your brand and everything and all the work that you've put into it, and that's a difficult choice. So you know, what do? You do need to protect it somehow, but you need to be the one to have control over it and be able to do, you know, what's right, but it's still be able to protect it, so that way you can, because my family is what's really helped me get through this and push this forward, and so I got to give to them. I owe much to them, you know, more to them than I owe to anybody else, for being able to provide support for this whole project, taking them around to different places, and they've enjoyed it. Of course, having the benefit of going to the White House last year was awesome, and you know, things like that. So, but taking it to this next level, you know, you have to think. There's a lot of decisions and a lot that you have to make to do that. So,
of course, and you're doing it on a way different level than we are, and we're proud of you for that. And it's definitely a risk, and I mean, it's you're right. You know, everything you said are valid points for sure, and you know, it's definitely taking the next step. You definitely have to take care of your own. So I completely understand. So let's get to a couple more questions here. Something that just popped in my mind. Has Lego been in contact with you?
I actually contacted Lego in Norway about Pancake Bot a year and a half ago, and I asked them, should I, you know, upload this thing, or are they interested in making a kit out of this, or no? What did I ask them? I asked them if they were interested in sponsoring me to go to one of these trade shows with Pancake Bot, and the response that I got from them was that Lego, I should look it up here because I don't want to misquote what they said. Let's see here. It'll take me a second here.
I'll just review the Kickstarter numbers real quick. We could get a live. So right now, the latest numbers are, with my super slow internet here, $102,478 with 589 backers and 28 days to go. I think that's some motivation for all the 3D food printing entrepreneurs out there. If your project kicks butt and and is really awesome, like the Pancake Bot, you definitely got a chance. You know, and a lot of Kickstarter projects we see these days are the same old 3D printers, FFF technology, this and this and this, and you know, your project is truly unique. And I think is this, Lewis, is this the second, you know what, I think it's the third food printer that's been on Kickstarter. Is it, Miguel? Lewis, do you know of others?
As far as I know, and I think I was discussing this the other day, I think it's not the first one, but it's the first one, maybe with the Discovery Extruder, that it has a truly successful campaign.
Right.
It's been like not even a week, I think, and you have already doubled your goal, what I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I have been talking, I think, with Jason and a few other people about what would be the keys for that, and that is something that would be cool to ask you, like what do you think makes the PancakeBot special for and attractive to people, no, to be their choice.
Okay. I'm trying to figure it out, but this going back to that question here.
Well, I can tell you what appeals to me. What appeals to me about the Pancake Bot, personally, is the story and the history of it. To build it yourself, I think really is a one cool aspect. But it's something that's it's you can say it's almost extremely different to what's in the kitchen right now. So if you go to somebody's kitchen, if you're lucky, you'll get a KitchenAid machine, but then you got the toaster, coffee machine, oven, a cooktop, a microwave, blender, you know, and that's about it. You know, there's nothing extravagant or, you know, kitchens aren't changing too often. I mean, as far as the everyday kitchen, now you come to my kitchen, we've got the KitchenAid. I got, I don't know how many appliances that my wife and I are screwing around with, and you know, it's something on a completely different level that you wouldn't see. So it's definitely drawing attention that way. It's an eye catcher. It's a hands-on item in the kitchen. I guess many things in the kitchen are mostly hands-on, but it's something that that attracts people to it because it's so different to be in the kitchen, you know.
Well, I think along those lines too. Oh, by the way, the response that I got from Lego was to the effect of that we typically don't sponsor projects related with food, and so that was the response that I got. But that was from a sponsoring perspective. But I never talked to Lego about taking it to a full kit or anything like that. But I figured that they don't sponsor projects with food. Maybe they don't want to do kits with food. But that's just more of a assessment from me. But I would love to talk to them about, you know, continuing the Lego version. But the Lego version actually is open source. It uses different technology to dispense the pattern than the newer version, but it still works. You know, we made lots of pancakes with it. So
when you were squeezing the bottle, right, on that one, you weren't actually using air or anything, right?
Yeah, we're using air. It's just a different way of developing that air. So
okay,
you can download those instructions and check it out. But I think the reason why this has become so popular, well, number one, I'm not sure why it's become so popular, but number one, what we have done is we've developed a huge following behind us, and we've developed a huge support network in the maker community. And that has just been from going to maker shows, getting PancakeBot out there, inspiring kids. When you combine three things, Legos, robots, and pancakes together, it really has clicked with people. You know, just like an awesome thing. And then, but you know, Lego's not practical for being able to have as a kitchen appliance. So then you remove the Lego portion of it, but you still have robots and pancakes. And I think that, especially at the price point that we're coming in, because the reason we partnered with Storebound was to be able to create a consumer product that people can do, and they through my help they redesigned the whole thing, at least in this third version, and they really cut down on a lot of the cost on the way they set it up because they have some great engineers that redesigning it. And so I think from that perspective, what we're looking at is this combination of something fun, or two things that are fun, robotics and pancakes. And the other thing is too is that we are, there are other 3D printer foods out there, but in the sense of 3D food printing, you are taking like a nice vegetable or a nice sauce or a nice, something. Then you're grinding it up and you're putting it into an extrusion tube. And so there's a process in doing that. So you're taking something that naturally is not in that form of, unless you have chocolate that is a melted form. But with normal food, you're taking something that is not normally, in this puree form, pured it in a puree form, and then trying to extrude it to get something that's visually appealing. And you can combine tastes and everything, but the main wow factor for this, I believe, at this point, is that it's visually appealing. And that's a lot of work for people. But with PancakeBot, you're using pancake batter, which is naturally in that form already. That's that step that you already created. Now what we're doing is we're giving people the ability to go from that natural form of pancake batter. We're able to let them draw with it and draw intricate details with it. And that really, amazes kids that you can have a machine draw something like that, and they can draw it over and over again, so they can have 10, 20 different units or something like that of that, not units, but 5 pancakes that look almost exactly the same with their custom variations. But going back to it, it's the following that we've developed through the maker community. So like I said, I'm just grateful for the maker community to be able to help us get through that. And then the combination of two things that are fun, robots and pancakes, and the initial one, Lego. And then third, that the natural the natural form of pancake batter, it's already like that. And you don't, so it's just one more step. You're not going 3 different steps from normal non-puree food to puree to then extrusion. So I think that's what makes the ease of it, basically. That's just the ease of it. And so I think those are the 3 things that really are making it successful. So.
Okay. Another thing that I'm really curious about is, for what you say, I think you have had an overwhelming response from people through your Kickstarter campaign. I wonder what is the feedback that you are getting, and what is the ideas that you are getting from that.
Well, the great thing about doing it on Kickstarter, and some people wondered, well, if you have a company like Storebound that brings products to market, why are you doing it on Kickstarter? I said, well, because, number one, we want to give back to the maker community. So we're giving people that contribute to the Kickstarter community, or to the Kickstarter project, we're giving them the Pancake Bot at a discounted rate, which is a good thing. The other thing is you get to get feedback from Pancake, or from the community, as to what they would like to see in it. Originally we were thinking, well, we're going to be happy, satisfy the requirements just with an SD card slot and the Pancake Bot. Then the maker community is like, hey, so how do I interface with it? Well, you need some kind of USB port. What kind of chip do you have? It'd be nice to have something that's an Atmel chip, so that way we can use Arduino SDK on it. Are the bottles switchable? It's like, oh, hey, these are some great ideas that even though we might have thought about them before, now we're getting validation from the community that this is what they want. So then we can make some small changes to the design that will enhance the quality of the product, and then create a better user experience. So, I mean, the kind of things that we're getting are the ones that I mentioned, and I think it's a real great thing that we're getting the response that we are on Kickstarter.
That is great.
I'm having some technical issues. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. So we've gone a little bit over our expected time, actually, but if you still have some minutes left, we've got a couple more questions, and then we'd love it if we could see the machine that you got on hand. What have you yourself learned about prototyping and launching a product so far? It sounds like, I mean, obviously you got an engineering background, but it sounds just with the way you're talking about it, like you've learned an extreme amount. You've gained a lot of knowledge about prototyping through this process.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that the main thing I learned is, number one, keep moving forward. That's something that I think, you know, Disney said, we keep moving forward. You know, there's a time and a place to give up and move on, but when you have such a reaction from kids, the way kids reacted to Pancake Bot and the way they were inspired. I mean, we would have kids sitting there watching pancakes being made for half an hour, 20 minutes, an hour. Kids would keep coming back to our booth, waiting for that pancake. They were in awe. Just that idea of, you know, seeing a kid being inspired that way really, you know, made me think we got something here that we want to push to be able to move forward. From a prototyping perspective, I also learned that Legos are fantastic to prototype with. Your initial investment might be a little high, but if you have your Lego techniques, or your Lego techniques, and they have these rods and pivots and things like that. I wish Lego would actually bring back the pneumatics to the public. Right now they only offer them on education kits, but I wish they would make it more, bring back pneumatics more. They have linear actuators and things like that and electronics, but they need pneumatics back in there. Kids need to understand how pressure and airflow works. But once you have these tools, then you can make prototypes and work out problems really easily. And I've worked on some other inventions that we're working on right now, and I've used Legos to show the client that this is the way it's going to work. They're like, oh wow, you did it with Lego. And they have to jump beyond that barrier that it's a toy and look at the mechanics behind it. So now you're able to create something with Lego and understand the mechanics and enhance the mechanics so you can get something better. The other thing with prototyping that I learned living in Norway, because I had limited access to things, was that the more you design on the computer, the more you design on paper, the more you work things out before you actually prototype, before you actually 3D print anything. It's a lot better. You have to be able to design it, sit back, and then look at the design and be very critical of it and reevaluate the design from all different perspectives. And the more you do on the computer, the more money you're going to save for yourself. And you got to think things about practicality, especially when on a consumer version. How practical is something is? And somebody might think, well, Miguel, making pancakes with a robot is not very practical. But what we're looking at here is like a revolution of how people think of making food and what it's going to be able to open, what doors it's going to be open to. So those are the main things I've learned from prototyping and my tools that I use.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm always looking for tips and tricks about prototyping. You know, I've always got a project in my head or something lined up or a file waiting to be finished on, and I agree with your assessment that planning is great. But I also agree that with 3D printing, and you can see I have one right here behind me.
Yes.
You know, I can crank out a model just in case, just to check it. And I also like to feel it in my hand. And I'm not talking something as large as Pancake Bot, of course, something smaller, scaling stuff down. I enjoy that as well. But definitely I agree that planning is pretty important. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, the idea of being able to prototype on a 3D model or 3D printer is fantastic because the manufacturability is amazing. But you always have to think, can I make this without 3D printing?
Right.
How's the manufacturer going to manufacture this? How can I simplify the design so that way it uses existing components such as rods or existing screws, something that I don't have to make custom, that I can buy off the shelf that's standard products and standard material. The more standard products, the more standard material you use, the easier it is going to be to design, the easier it is going to be to replace those parts, and the more cost-effective the solution is going to be.
Right. How have you found it working with a company like Storebound?
Working with Storebound has been great, primarily because they keep me involved with the design as it's going along. And working with Evan Dash is really good. We had a great time at the International Houseware Show, and they're a great vehicle for bringing something to market and being able to provide a quality product to the consumer. So I think I've had a great experience with them.
Cool. To be honest, I cannot wait to see the Pancake board. It's like.
Thank you guys for supporting it. So I really appreciate it. You're not gonna. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna be disappointed in it. The fact that it uses G code as the operating or as the language, you know, you can use any other program to create your own G code file and then use it. Then it makes it more open for that. So easier to discover.
Yeah, I can't wait to design all kinds of different pancakes.
It's so much fun. You're going to sit there and make a lot of batter.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, can you give us a preview and kind of explain how it works?
Yeah, sure. Hold on a second. We've showed this at the show, at the trade show in Chicago. So it's not like other people have not seen this. So the issue is that I left the ketchup bottle. I left the dispensing bottle at the trade show, so I had to substitute my own bottle, which is similar to the previous version. So the model's going to be different.
Okay.
But here it is. Oh, and actually, let me flip the camera around. Okay, that did not work. So here is the model, the 3D printed, or the new.
Ooh, ah.
Now it's going to come with a griddle, and I don't want to go into too much detail about it right now because we're still in the beta phase, but it's got a gantry that moves back and forth like this, and the top moves back and forth, and that's your X and Y, and then we're looking at just being able to swap these bottles out so that way you can try different colors and stuff like that. And comes with an SD card reader right now, so that way you can pop your images, you can pop your files onto an SD card and have a library of 1,000 pancakes if you want, because they're G code and they're very small, so you'd be able to have whatever ones you want. So we're looking at what we're going to do with it further. So.
Is there a screen on it? So that's how it's going to communicate. You write your files to the SD card, you pop it in, and then you choose a number, or is there a screen on it, I guess?
Yeah, there'll be some kind of screen on it. We don't have that right now, but you'll be able to do that and choose the different files through that interface. Okay. And then, like I said, we're looking at doing a SD card and a USB card also. But we're still looking at what's going to cost and what the details on it are going to be.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's why we haven't heard about Wi-Fi yet, because I'm sure that jumps the price up pretty by a lot.
That would be a significant stretch goal that we would do if we were going to do Wi-Fi.
Right.
And that would be something that we'd have to figure out exactly how to do.
I'm sure somebody's going to hack it either way, because I definitely want to print my pancakes from my smart device, while laying on the couch,
Right.
That's how I like to print burgers. I use Octoprint, so of course I want to print pancakes the same way.
Okay, then we're listening. Put it that way.
Well, Louis, do you have anything else for Miguel?
No, for me, I think it's been already an awesome interview. We learned a lot, and as I say, just waiting for more news. Something that I just wanted to clarify. You talk about the Pancake Bot Kit, but this would come out after the Kickstarter one, right?
Yes. we're looking at making it available. Hopefully, I mean, we're shooting for July. The more components that we add because of the things people are requesting, I would say it might push it back a little bit, but that's based on adding more things. So if you're willing to wait another month and we're able to provide either Bluetooth or a different type of chip or something like that, then, you know, hopefully it's okay for you guys to feel like you're going to be able to wait a little bit more, a little longer. But we're shooting for July right now, so we're wrapping up and locking in what we need to do, and then I'm not sure if we're going to be what kind of stretch goals we're looking at, but the main thing is that we're shooting for is I want to be able. It's hard to, from what I've been learning about stretch goals, it's hard to be able to get people to do something on board in order to reach a stretch goal. I just would rather add something to the device and make people be interested, and if they want it, then they'll get it based on that addition, rather than saying, if we make this much, then you'll get this. Let's just add it to the device, and then if you want it, then you get it. If you don't want it, then you don't get it. So that's kind of my attitude with that. I mean, for stretch goals, if we reach a certain amount, then we might be able to provide to everybody an extra thing, like an apron or more additional bottles with a bottle rack that allow them to swap out the colors or something like that. So there's different things that we're looking at, but we're trying to get back to the community as soon as possible.
Great.
Yeah, that's great. Miguel, thank you so much for doing this with us. It's really been an honor. Congratulations on your successful Kickstarter, and for really, laying the ground floor for a lot of us. We have dreams, and you're really kicking it off for us, and thank you for that, for pushing yourself and not giving up, and and thank you your family as well for pushing you and allowing you to do this, because I'm sure it wasn't easy the day you went to your wife and said, hey, I think we can be successful printing pancakes. I'm sure that she gave you a strange look that day, because I know I get a lot of them when I talk about printing burgers. But
you gotta understand, my wife was the one that said, I think you should do this. After I had told her, I think I'm gonna not do this anymore. Yeah, so I owe that to her. So
that's really awesome.
Responsible for this. So she's been there to help me out with it. One thing though, I think that we really oh no, I already covered that, so we should be fine. So that's about it.
Yeah, if there's anything else you wanted to say before we close out here, go ahead if you wanted to. Any news you want to break? Or
this far. Thank you very much for sticking with us, and I hope that there's a big story behind this whole thing. So that's why I kind of went off on detailing how this came about. I really appreciate everybody's support. Please keep sharing the project. Take advantage of the Kickstarter offer. It does come with the griddle, so you do get a griddle with it, one that works with the U.S. and one that's going to be working international. For those of you that are wondering about the shipping cost, why we haven't determined the shipping cost for international, because what we're looking at is once we get a certain amount of volume, then we'll be able to ship to a distributor to that region. So in Europe, we'll be able to ship to one distributor who will then distribute the Pancake Bot, versus shipping it directly from Hong Kong, which would be rather expensive. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to reduce the price of the shipping depending on the demand of the units. So that's why we can't tell you right now, but worst case scenario, you would have to calculate an international charge for a rather big box. But one thing I'll show you here that I didn't show you before is how this thing comes apart. Hey Faith, are you there? Am I still there or not?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. So the griddle comes off. The griddle is removable. Okay. And then, I'll give me a second here. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Then that folds down inside of there.
Yeah, there's the secret, Louis. That's the secret to getting in the kitchen, making it storage easy, making it store easy in the cupboard somewhere.
When you're doing, you need kitchen stuff, you need storage and cleanability.
Yeah.
What I've learned. So
very, very smart. Very, very smart. Thanks for sharing that secret there with us. That was awesome. Thank you so much again, Miguel and Mrs. Pancake Bot as well. We thank you for allowing Miguel to take it this far. If you guys wanted to find out more, go ahead, Louis.
I just want to add one more thing. I don't care about the shipping price. I want my early bird Pancake Bot as soon as possible. That's what I want.
All right, sounds good.
I will go to Hong Kong to pick it up.
Yeah, if you got any old testers laying around, feel free to send one over here too. I'll do a lot of beta testing on it, whatever you want me to do.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a quick question. What did you guys think of our logo that we're using, the gear with the chef hat?
I think it's cute. I think it's cute.
I like. It's not the one that you have in the Kickstarter campaign, right? It's from the website.
Yeah, we just have Pancake Bot as that, but it just, it's fun to see if that's a logo that we want to go with or not. So.
I think it's cute. I'm actually working on one for BotBQ as well right now. I know they're not easy. And you know what? I think that the Pancake Bot, it doesn't matter what the logo is. I think you might be worried about that once you actually get inside the stores. Then, visual and things like that. But I think it's going to be a more success than we even know right now. Once you're in Sears, then you might want to really worry about the logo for the grandmas and everybody out there buying the Pancake Bot stuff. So. But thanks again. If we can help you out in any way, please reach out to us and let us know. We're definitely going to share the heck out of this video and the Kickstarter until the day it's over. So thank you again. If anybody out there wants to find out more about Louis, you can head to 3digitalcooks.com. About myself and the BotBQ, you can go to botbq.org. And of course, the Pancake Bot, head to pancakebot.com and support the Kickstarter. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Ciao. Louis.
Are we off? You guys off? Or?
I think Louis is frozen. Well, Miguel, thanks a lot. That was really, really cool.
All right. It still says we're live. Hi, guys, we're still here.
Yeah, Louis just sent me. He got a blue screen on his laptop right at the closeout. So, but
are we still live on the?
Yeah, we're live still. So, I will catch up with you later on. I will call you on Skype shortly.
All right. See you later then. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.